Hello, my little PogChamps, and welcome back to EGFC Season 3. I am finally here. I'm really happy to be back. I'm Duramgo, coming to you live with my favorite co-caster, Fang. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Having a good day today. We're ready to watch some more collegiate Smash action. And the first schools we got up are Canisius versus St. Peter's University. Two very good schools. Quick checkup on what occurred last week for both of these schools. Canisius fell to Siena College 22-3, and St. Peter's fell to Fairfield University 17-9. So a little bit of a redemption week for both of these schools right here. One of them has to win, and we're just getting right into it. We got Sky versus a Fly. Bars.
I like the little pause that you gave to you, like, yep, bars. Okay, Captain Falcon gave it a watch. Man, this matchup's not good for the Falcon.
Oh, especially if you do that. Especially
Yeah.
if you do things like that to start off the game.
It's a little bit tough being like a fast follow at a mid-weight, especially against Game & Watch. A lot of just neutral follow-ups as well. So you really just have to be able to whip punish Game & Watch well. But I feel like A-Fly has just been everything that they've been going for thus far has just landed.
Yeah, you see Sky struggling to find his way in a little bit. It's just kind of a struggle Falcon seems to have against a lot of shorter characters, but especially ones of such an explosive advantage such as Game & Watch. I mean, this character has the best out of shield punish in the entire game, so you really have to be careful with how you approach this character.
Oh, absolutely. And Captain Falcon not really having the safest or necessarily the most disjointed buttons to actually pressure in through that and shield. And also, Game & Watch is going to start falling out of stuff at a pretty early percent too. So I feel like it's going to be really difficult for Sky to find this opening.
But you see here, still the damage getting tacked on a little bit and getting a few grabs here or there, not too far off from maybe a back throw or back air, killing at this percent. So, and we do know Falcon have quite the explosive advantage as well. I mean, one hit, this character can really just go completely ape. So you have to be really careful when you're getting hit by Falcon.
Going for up tilt out of side view, I think, is actually a really interesting choice. I'm really upset like Sky was not able to get too much else out of it, but A-Fly is controlling the stage, and sure, fine, that's an appropriate trade. That's okay. That was a little bit strange. Yeah.
This game has some strange interactions sometimes, given how command grabs operate, how certain moves trade. Sometimes stuff just kind of happens.
But now A-Fly just playing keep away a little bit, trying to maybe jump in with a neutral, but Sky was just there in time.
Ooh.
What happened?
I think maybe he dropped his controller. Maybe his dog was patting him on the back or something while he was playing. He was like, hey, knock that off. Who knows? Either way, this is all the opening that Sky needs to pay back for that first SD for St. Peter's. And a first set in this league can really kick off some massive momentum for a team here at EGF. So be careful.
Yeah, Sky has just been struggling to initiate to really find those big openings, which is somebody like Captain Falcon really relies on, just constantly finding themselves being forced to land in really uncomfortable positions. And that choice to go for Chef there was so smart, because Sky was stuck in the corner, couldn't jump. What just happened?
Wait, that broke shield? What? That was 3. That was a 3. Does 3 do that much shield damage? I've never seen that before. What happened? That was a perfectly healthy shield. I wish we had replays so we could see that again, but gone in the wind. Is that a game win right there for St. Peter's? But man, if I'm Canisius, I'm feeling real good about that one.
Yeah.
When just with the one stock to spare in that scramble situation right there. So really good stuff right there by a Fly. I cannot believe that shield broke. What?
That's not really an interaction. That happens at all.
No,
with anything
ever.
That's not enough. If it's a 9, then sometimes does 9 go through shield, something like that. It's one of the two.
This game is happy, funny, wacky, fun times. Yes, sometimes. This game sometimes doesn't make any sense, and at levels of play where we don't see the optimal choice being picked every single time, some wacky occurrences can happen. You can really never guess. Smash is truly a dice roll every time you boot up the game or spectate it.
And in this case, quite literally. But yeah, that's
literally dice roll.
That's a new one to me. I'm actually curious at what point that actually broke the shield.
No clue.
Because Sky was holding on to the shield for quite a bit beforehand as well, right? Just trying to block whatever A-Fly was throwing their way. So going into the next game, Captain Falcon Game & Watch is hard. That is very much like a matchup where the aggressor and the one that just plays back, like those roles are really defined. And Game & Watch really has no incentive to ever really approach, can just kind of play out of shield a whole bunch. Not a lot that Captain Falcon can do about that.
Yeah, in situations like that, especially against a character like Game & Watch, you really have to kind of morph your entire game plan around Game & Watch. You know, you have to be a lot more careful on shield. You have to make sure you're whiff punishing him correctly, because although this character is very tough and has a good amount of lagless options at their disposal, there are big commitments that Game & Watch can make that you can punish him for. So I want to see if Sky can maybe look out for that a bit more, maybe pick out exactly the habits that a Fly has been displaying. But so far, a Fly looking pretty good.
So it seems like Canisius is going to be banning Battlefield, Yoshi's, and PS2. I'm actually curious as to why like the bans to Battlefield and Yoshi's. I feel like these are all like stages that Game & Watch kind of excels on, just to be able to get like platform extensions. So it's not impossible that we do like see the character switch from a Fly.
Yeah, so we're gonna see. I mean, a Fly is someone who is been known to change characters quite frequently. You know, they have very nice Steve and Dr. Mario at their disposal, but I think they're rocking with the Game & Watch for this set.
So they're gonna be running it right back to FD. I don't know why. I would not agree with the stage choice, honestly, just because like Captain Falcon's like approaches can be a little bit linear on this kind of a stage, right? When you don't really have platforms to move around at all. But then similarly, you can catch landings really confidently. Also, what a crouch!
I know that. Yeah, that crouch now enables Game & Watch to shift his entire hurt box down. So grabs and other moves that hit just a bit too high can really be dodged, honestly. I haven't seen a lot of players use that as a tactical advantage for Game & Watch, unless they're like trying to go for some sort of cheeky down tilt at ledge, but it works.
Plague was fire. If I see a Game & Watch up smashing on the other side of the screen, I am letting that happen. Unless you have a projectile, you always try to let that happen because you know what they're looking for. They're looking for dishonest behavior.
Oh yeah. Oh my, but excellent down smash right there. Yeah, that move does it all. Can bury you, catches landings very well. You really have to watch out when Game & Watch is charging that down smash right there.
It hits both in front and behind. It can two-frame. It has a very generous hitbox. So that's just really good utilization from A-Fly. Unfortunately, that bomb going to be trading, I believe, with like Captain Falcon jab, so no follow-up quite yet.
And again, another up the out of shield punish right there from a Fly. But I like that stomp back air right there. Sky at least moving in the right direction with a lot of these whiff punishes right here. You know, just gotta wait. You know, Game & Watch is a fairly late character, so you really just have to wait for your one big opportunity at these late percents to really capitalize the stock off. Oh my.
Oh, that's what Game & Watch does best, juggling. And that's what Captain Falcon struggles at most, actually being able to find that landing. So that's exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, we're starting to see some frustration with Sky trying to get in on the Fly. It's just looking... There you go. The excellent back air, though. Punishing that. It's going to be tough, though. I mean, Game & Watch just has such an explosive advantage. Like you said, Falcon does struggle to land quite a bit. So it's just going to be very consistent damage being dealt by a Fly. Unless Sky can find some way to maybe trip up their movement a little bit. Maybe start dashing back and forth a little bit more.
But A-Fly's corner pressure and ledge trapping has been so solid. Sky has just not been able to get out of this advantage for the longest time. Tries to get back on with a really committal and ambitious side B, but just going to be immediately stuffed out by Corridor. A-Fly just is keeping them in a corner and keeping them alive for a long time, but at some point they do need to finish chewing their food.
Sky trying to desperately find some sort of punish here. Manages to get that dash attack, but there's no real substantial big punishes here. Sitting at 158, you know, even a sneeze from Game & Watch is going to be able to take a stock at this point.
Just a dash attack, a down smash, anything, but one thing I'm curious about is why A-Fly keeps on like opting to go for down tilt instead of F tilt, which is, you know, going to be a little bit more generous of a hitbox and a little bit faster if I'm not mistaken in that situation.
Yeah, another good landing catch right there with that down smash on a Fly. That just seemed like they have at least the basic punish game figured out for this matchup, but Sky with the falling nair and a fair right there. That's all he needs to get back into this game.
Yeah, that's the kind of like X factor that Captain Falcon always has, right? Like one good stomp, one good side B, like, you know, one good knee, is all it takes sometimes, just to like DI check you a little bit, or maybe catch you not pressing buttons in the right places. But look how confident Sky is, just challenging all these smash attacks head on.
I like the idea for the Raptor boost right there, since it does have a little bit of armor on it to get through a lot of falling moves. I just think the placement of it was a little bit off right there. Sky, a Fly though, going for this kill right now.
Trying to chase a little bit with dash attack, but that down throw can be so huge. A couple of up airs, and now A-Fly just forced to be able to find a landing here, but wow.
Ooh, it just runs right into the up smash, and that is gonna bring Canisius up a big 4-0 to start this off. And you know, not too much of a deficit to be made up here for St. Peter's. So, but I like how Sky kept it close, but ultimately a Fly playing way more consistent. My camera's bugging out again, so it looks like I have whipped cream on my lips once again. I don't know why this keeps happening. I promise I don't eat this much whipped cream in my spare time.
Only about half of the projected amount, but yeah, what can I say? My internet is looking impeccable these days, and I really hope I didn't just jinx myself, so that my, you know, maybe my cam's gonna like start bugging out as soon as I say that. A-Fly
What if
played
it's a
well.
lighting issue? How about that? Are we better now? No, we're still got whipped cream on our face.
I wonder.
I can't.
I wonder if like your lip is getting chroma keyed.
I also have chapstick on right now. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
We just gotta keep
Canisius
it going.
up 4-0, looking real good so far, which is what I like to see, honestly. I like the consistency of Fly was doing. It seemed like they were feeling it out just a little bit to start off with, but eventually they got into a really fair groove. That it seemed like Sky was visibly frustrated trying to, you know, swing for the fences, get a lot of these big punishes off, but just how it goes sometimes when you're confronted with a really solid Game & Watch.
Yeah, I feel like every hit that A-Fly got, they were able to find some neutrals, find an uppie, find an up air. So every hit always like became like, okay, this is gonna deal like at least 40%, or I'm gonna be knocking you off stage. As opposed to Sky, I feel like some of those hits, except like maybe towards the end, tended to be one-offs. They tended to reset the situation. Some of their movement, I just feel like was also like really committal. Just sort of like dashing into a lot of up smashes, preemptively dashing or preemptively side being. Into like a lot of dangerous like scenarios where sometimes I feel like Sky could just like either gently approach by walking or just waiting a little bit and seeing what Game & Watch does.
Yeah, I agree. I think just taking it a bit more slowly, you know, if you're really running into Game & Watch at Mach 5, which is what Falcon does best a lot of the times, but in matchups where you're forced to play the tempo of the opposing character a little bit more, you do want to taper that aggression back just a little bit. You know, you could be opening yourself up to a lot of punishes if you're really just trying to force some sort of opening, which in most matchups, Falcon can do flawlessly. However, Game & Watch is a character that forces you to respect his defense, and spades at that. So, we'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, really well played from both of those players. That's going to be Canisius going up with a 4-0 lead for now. It seems like coming up, we are going to be seeing Weebson from Canisius going up against Cuffy from St. Peter's. And if I'm not mistaken, this is Cuffy, the DDD player,
Yes.
who I have successfully convinced to switch to a box-style controller, which I'm really glad about. So I'm very excited to see how he plays today.
Yeah, but we're going to see those two guys getting booted up. We're going to head to a short break real quick while those guys get situated. We'll see you guys right afterwards.
All right, and we are back with a quick little break. Listen, we're in it today for the long haul, so we are going to be taking a good amount of breaks. We're basically going to be on until 11 or 11:30. We've got a nice long day of Super Smash Bros. Ahead of us. So, with that being said, it does seem like we do have character confirmation on Weebson. It's going to be Dark Pit up against DDD. As somebody who plays a lot of DDD, DDD doesn't have a lot of good matchups. In fact, maybe like two that are bad. Dark Pit just kind of can put you in a blunder until infinity.
This will be interesting. We did see a lot of good stuff out of Weebson last week, so I'm very curious to see how Cuffy is going to fare against them this time around. You know, DDD does have a lot of explosive power at his disposal, and a lot of tools in his kit that can make things for, I'd say, a lot of mid to low level players a little frustrated. Namely that Gordo, namely his multiple jumps, how he can just plow through certain hitboxes sometimes. You can't really take out his recovery unless he's just committing to double jumps, because that does have armor on it, so I want to see how Weebson deals with all that.
Well, Weebson right now is just playing so well, constantly in Cuffy's face. That is exactly where you want to be against DDD. DDD has no close range buttons that are quick, that can actually threaten disjoints. So you want to be constantly up there, constantly pressing, constantly making it as difficult as possible for DDD to get any footing. Because once he does have a bit of space, that is when he can really, truly start playing the game. So I really like how Weebson is pacing this.
Oh yeah, and just waiting to whiff punish Cuffy right there. Excellent F smash. I think the DI could have been a little better on that right there.
Yeah, it wasn't the best DI, and only getting the reverse hitbox of the dash attack.
That did so much damage.
So let's talk about that.
Like 30 damage.
You know why that did 30 damage? You know why that did 30 damage, Sean?
Did it get hit back twice, or?
That's right, because it gets hit back into the actual side B swing of the hammer itself, and then it gets reflected one more time by Pit's down B. So
Ouch.
Gordo's a bit of a funny projectile sometimes.
Yeah, this is looking like a little bit of a struggle for Cuffy so far, you know. I like the Orbiter usage, though, from Weebson so far. Orbiter, really, really safe landing option for Pit, given those shields can block more than just projectiles, typically. And it's just aiding him so well and just assisting these very safe landings. But that fatty dash attack is going to take out Weebson's
that
stock
unfortunate
right
like whiff side to just put Weebson into so much lag. Cuffy has to be careful to committing to like side Bs in reactable ranges. Has to be like really careful to only go through them when he feels like he can still throw out a shield in time. That entire situation only came about because he was like a little bit impatient to neutral.
I'm seeing a lot of good things from Weebson right here. There's consistent combo game, making sure he can take out Cuffy every time he whiffs. You know, these whiff punishes have been really aiding Weebson in this consistent damage. Cuffy really has to be a bit more careful when they swing, I feel like.
Look at the coverage, too. Weebson is, like, constantly accounting for DDD's, like, air dodges. DDD doesn't have a lot of airspace to their name as well, so... Or airspeed, excuse me, so... it's going to be really difficult for him to get any kind of footing at all or retreat to safety.
I like those edge guard attempts from Cuffy a lot because, yeah, Pit and Dark Pit have no hitbox on their up B whatsoever. But you also have to make sure you watch out for your own landings right there.
Nice try.
Weebson's gonna take that fairly solidly, I'd say.
That was a clinic. That was good. Weebson played this matchup so well. Weebson was just constantly in Cuffy's face. Made it really difficult to get Gordo in play. Made it really difficult for Cuffy to do DDD things.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, that was just so well played.
I think Cuffy may have to slow it down a little bit. If there is one character that is pretty good at whiff punishing, I'd say it's Dark Pit and Pit. It's just that their initial dash is probably one of the best in the game. They can really turn on a dime. Their aerials are very solid. They have good combo game. This character can also catch landings very well. If the character has a little bit of a slower airspeed, I feel like you really have to watch yourself against a good Pit player because almost all of them have fairly solid neutral. All of them really know how to whiff punish and play around your danger area or your general area of effect when you're putting out those hitboxes.
Yeah, after a certain level of play, like Pit is not a character that holds your hand. Pit is not a character that lets you get away with like not knowing some parts of the game as well, right? So you have to be really, really confident with your approaches. Neutral can be really, really committal if you're not using it correctly, but I really like how Weebson, in times that Cuffy was like fully expecting something like a dash grab, would instead go through like a rising neutral, constantly mixing him up. He just played it so well. He played neutral really well. He kept his advantage up. He did everything that he needed to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, with that, we're gearing up to get this next game going right here for Cuffy. You know, I feel like St. Peter's has to start to make a dent here, because when you go down 2-0 in sets off the bat, it can be really, really difficult to claw a comeback, especially if you only have one more set, really. Because we've seen it a lot, especially last week. It's very, almost impossible to make it back from 3 lost sets in this format. So, like, you'd have to have a miracle or just play out of your mind for it. So, St. Peter's is really going to have to, you know, band together, find their anchor, put them in, and really just start making a dent in Canisius right now, because they're looking good. They're looking real good.
And also, I just feel like what's also like really, really like important to note is that a lot of like the skill, like of the average players in a school, kind of tends to be like it's like a mutual thing. It's like a shared thing, because people like constantly like play with one another, they practice with one another, so they're constantly like helping each other improve. So like seeing like how even the first match does like is typically indicative of how the rest of it is going to go, and like where the rest of the players are at.
It's true, and it's one thing that makes colleges such a good training ground, I'd say, for your Smash gameplay, because you know you're always going to be in the same area. You have consistent offline practice to really aid yourself. You can all build off of each other consistently, and if you've got a really solid player on your roster, they can teach you all sorts of scary stuff. But we're going to see how this game 2 goes for both schools.
Yep, so it does seem like Cuffy is going to be still sticking with DDD. The biggest thing is, in a matchup, especially for a super heavy, how do you actually make them doable for yourself? You have to play second foot, you have to play in adaptation to the opponent. You can't keep trying to force a traditional game plan. So Cuffy needs to be a lot more patient when it comes to committing to buttons. Look what happened. Weebson put themselves into the corner.
Not managing to get out of it pretty seamlessly, though, with only 35 damage, you know, to boot. And again, we're seeing those orbiters come out to aid in those landings. But Cuffy, I think the stage pick is working out a lot better for him. I love that, because it actually reflected the Gordo on the ledge as well, making that kind of a negative tool against Cuffy. Luckily, the half-life on it is not
a negative
too
tool
long.
against Cuffy, but more importantly, it gave Weebson a safe way to get back on, because otherwise the Gordo will hit you right into DDD. It can set up for a dash attack. It can set up for, you know, dash like an F smash.
Oh god, these dash attacks are ever so looming against Weebson, but luckily making it back throughout that. And now with, I think, a little less real estate to deal with before the actual scrap comes into neutral, making things a little bit harder for Weebson to find these fat openings right here.
Those arrows from Weebson as they're coming back onto the stage are so smart.
Whoa.
Also, oh buddy, let's talk about that. So Cuffy tried to go for like a J-Dog, right? That's when you try to go for like an up B above the ledge, try to hit them, try to auto move through the next attack. But when you're descending, you actually don't have that auto move anymore, so you can still be hit out of it. The down smash just so happened to be able to be there in time, and then DDD not having any good air acceleration makes it really difficult for him to like drift back towards the stage with any kind of horizontal momentum.
I'm loving this gameplay adjustment from Cuffy this game. I like just being way less committal with these Gordos. These aerials are looking better. I'm liking the grab mix-ups. Weebson starting to flounder a little bit, you know, throwing out more of these electroshocks, and Cuffy is just keeping the momentum rolling in their favor just repeatedly.
Ooh, that was a bit of an anti-up B, and it is going to be able to get Weebson killed for it. Probably just mashed it out, out of like a slight panic. So kind of what happens is you can press any button out of it, and that is the button that you are going to get like afterwards. So it's not necessarily like always recommended to air dodge or jump in those situations, but just to like press your fastest aerial sometimes.
Yeah, we're seeing completely different Cuffy right now. Just, again, these setups are so good. Weebson not managing to find any sort of solid, safe landing, and I love the inhales. We're seeing so many more of them this game, and so many more safe positions that Cuffy's been choosing to deploy it in.
I like Weebson's aerial usage too, because it's always been either connecting or at least getting Cuffy to back up a little bit too. I'm not really sure about that aerial usage. That time in particular, Weebson not at all ready for the uppy to go above the ledge that time around. That is a suspiciously big hitbox. It catches you off guard.
Again, another electroshock from Weebson. These are getting him punished quite a lot. I feel like they could just be using more of Pitt's normal aerials a lot. You know, you don't always have to rely on it. You will find your kill eventually because Pitt just has certain ways of checkmating you, sometimes either with a forward throw or down throw in these high percents. And we're going to see it maybe right here. Yes, there it goes.
Yeah, FP 177, that is, you know, one of Pitt's only, like, kill throws, so... Really good stuff to them for being able to use it there, but now they need to find a way to be able to get back on, but such a good edge guard from Cuffy.
Oh, yeah.
That was just, like, good recognition. Pitt didn't really have any more, like, jumps to play around with. Like, so no, like, stalling with, like, jump neutral, no jump forward, and was, at that point, like, really looking like Weebson wanted to recover low. Go to the ledge, probably with an up B.
Cuffy looked really a lot better, honestly, that game. It seemed like once Weebson started getting pressured a little bit, all the buttons just started coming out. And Cuffy just kept it calm, cool, collected. Got a lot of those solid grab punishes. You started to see Gordos in better positions. Not really too many large committals to like big moves like dash attacks or inhales in really poor places. I'm loving the adjustment from Cuffy right now. It's so good.
It was a really good adjustment, but then I also feel like there was a slight shift in the way that Weebson was pacing the game. Because as soon as Weebson lost that lead, we started seeing Weebson play a little bit too safe, starting to respect things like DDD Gordo a little bit more, opting to go for a lot of arrows, opting to go for a lot of dashbacks, and that ended up giving up space and getting them punished sometimes. Against DDD, that is a character that you have to not be afraid to constantly be in their face, constantly like applying pressure and making sure that DDD is not allowed to play the game. And I just feel like when you really don't want to lose, sometimes you like inadvertently start playing a little bit too safe that way.
I think we just need to see Weebson really rein it in terms of nerves. You know, again, we were seeing lots of high committal options like Electroshock and not really too much reliance on normals or ability to use Pitt's excellent movement to really establish openings for themselves. Cuffy was just kind of running over him that entire game.
Yep, so going into the next one, I just want to see like Weebson pick up that kind of aggression from game one once again, not over-respect things like side B, but then also be cognizant of things like DDD up B, like coming back onto the stage. That is a big vibe check of the matchup, is are you ready to stop like preemptively ledge trapping and just wait and shield, let DDD grab the ledge, or maybe go with like a 2-frame with like a falling neutral or something. I feel like a player that's really, really effective at edge guarding DDD, if you ever see how like MK Leo plays the matchup with Violet, he's always grabbing onto the ledge and then dropping down with a double jump neutral. And if DDD goes above the ledge, he has enough time to punish it. If DDD goes to the ledge, it ends up 2-framing him. And I feel like you can do a really similar thing with like Dark Pit.
Going right back into it, though, in this game 3 right here. Looks like we're going to be seeing small battlefield this time around. Probably gives Weebson a little bit more room to run around and use Pitt's movement to its maximum potential. But Cuffy already, like we said, was playing super well last game with these adjustments that Weebson was making game 1.
Cuffy is now executing his game plan as win condition. DDD loves jumping and he loves alternating between falling neutralized to be able to get some sort of a hit afterwards. It has so much, frame advantage on hit. Or you can also go for inhales. And now he's being allowed to jump in because Weebson is just not really covering that space in time.
Weebson finding these little openings here or there. We haven't seen too many large capitalizations yet. It just seems like Cuffy has been getting more substantial punishes off of these interactions, like that up smash right there. Yeah, I feel like Weebson has to watch these electroshocks again. They're just getting him killed.
Yeah, absolutely. But now Weebson finds himself in advantage. Such a good up tilt there, using it just to be able to get another up hit out of it. Cuffy, really good inhale, just able to reset the situation entirely.
Oh boy. All right. I like the Gordo setup right here. And yeah, down smash. DD's ledge trapping, really, really good if you don't know how to really time yourself against the Gordos. It can be a bit of a challenge for even some seasoned players, honestly.
It's one of those things that, like, everybody loves talking about timing mix-ups when they get back onto the stage, but this is a very tricky situation where you don't want to jump a little bit too early, otherwise you find yourself like falling right into Gordo. But if you let the timer go a little bit too late, suddenly you're all out of options as DDD completes his ledge trap setup. So it's all about finding that middle ground with which you can mix up your timing.
Yeah. Little inopportune right there for Cuffy to throw out that Gordo right there, as Weebson is finally going to take this first stock off. But man, Cuffy, so powerful when in the driver's seat. Just getting such good traps off with these Gordos. I think becoming a little more privy to the fact that Weebson has not really been opting for too many low recoveries, and more so expending Pit's jumps at a really high place. And DDD can keep tempo in those instances.
But then also, I feel like it's really important to acknowledge, I feel like Weebson is not pressing, really like mashing enough in some situations, and relying a little bit too much on movement when Pit really doesn't give him that kind of, like, I don't know, doesn't like have that kind of like quick getaway option.
Oh my god, Cuffy, I love the aggression now. You see, we used to see Cuffy stay more so on stage, but I think Cuffy knows that as soon as Weebson is committing to these low recoveries, that's Cuffy's go time.
DDD has bigger disjoints. He can just go out there and edge go Pit really confidently, but
he's
now
dead.
all out of jumps. So now Cuffy is going to be losing good stock. I feel like that was a bit of a misplay on Cuffy's behalf, like constantly like choosing to use up a multi-jump instead of just dipping down low, holding onto them, and then up-being.
Especially so since DDD has a pretty good vertical on his recovery from at least certain instances, and even like a decent horizontal on it. Like you can burn those jumps super low below the ledge, and it'll be fine. A little bit of misty eye right there on Weebson's part, and Cuffy is going to make that full comeback, managing to close out that game right there, and finally get St. Peter's on the board with a set. That was looking mighty dangerous for them.
And again, I just feel like Weebson played the first match really well. Maybe Cuffy started to adapt a little bit later on, right? So Cuffy stopped going for unsafe mid-range Gordos that Weebson still could have reacted to and tried to reflect back. And started like really focusing more on his game plan of how to jump in. I feel like Weebson wasn't all too familiar with the situations that like DDD would want to put you in. Jumping in with neutral, jumping in with inhale, how much space does this actually cover, and then just ended up playing a little bit too safely, game 2 and 3.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think Cuffy also just made very fire adjustments in like these really clutch moments, like starting to like almost pick up a little bit more on matchup knowledge as the set progressed. Oh, I can go off stage here. This is a good time to place Gordo. Oh, he keeps electroshocking on top of me. Let me punish that with up smash. Like Cuffy's decision-making trees were looking so much more optimized to deal with these situations than they were before. I think you were right in that Weebson could have been employing a little bit more button usage. We were seeing a little too much of a reliance on movement, but DDD has such a good time putting out that Gordo to establish some stage control for himself a little bit, and then following up a little bit after that. So I do think more buttons on Weebson's part could have been pressed.
For sure. But with that being said, while we do wait for confirmation on the next player and where we're going to be playing, we are going to be taking a short break, so we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, so don't go anywhere quite yet. Hello, my little pug champs. I'm gonna do that each time. Every single time that we open up for the rest of today. I'm gonna say that, so I just hope you guys are, ready for it. We're back from our break. We do have, once again, Canisius going up against St. Peter's. Sean, who do we have going up?
Up next, I believe we got Bright and Early versus E-Dog. And I remember who these guys played last time, but then it has escaped my brain. E-Dog plays Byleth and Falcon. I think I hear that Fire Emblem noise going off, so yes, it is Byleth. And we've also got Roy, Bright and Early on Roy. So we're seeing a little bit of a Fire Emblem clash here. Both these characters incredibly solid in their own right, I feel like.
I think a really big thing in this matchup is like who can edge guard or ledge trap the other first. This is something that Byleth's really good at, just sort of dipping down, really being able to kill opponents pretty early. Goy does sometimes struggle to get back onto the stage. I really want to see later in this match if E-Dog is able to successfully find edge guards on Bright and Early.
And we're seeing right here, E-Dog also already, I like the recovery mix-up right there quite a bit. Tried to go for that through the platform down there right there. It's all a matter for Byleth not to let Roy in. I think a double jump was expended there because Bright and Early was sent packing after that right there.
And definitely, you can't underestimate like Crom and Goy's air speed, right? So even if Bright and Early did have the double jump, they still might have been able to make it back. But you know what? Now they have the ledge under control. Or do they? As E-Dog actually fights the way back on.
I'm honestly astounded right now at E-Dog, honestly. I feel like the control they've been displaying so far has been very good. Of course, going to be getting caught by that side view right there fully on. It's again, I think they've been doing a good job so far of not letting Bright and Early in quite as much. And I think if there's a character that excels at really keeping a good mid-range between other characters, it's Byleth.
Oh, that's such good spacing on the back end too, because they really need like a sweeter salad spot, just needed an opening to be able to get back onto the stage. That is a falling back here, no conversion from Bright and Early quite yet. What was that trade?
That was an up B trade, I believe. I believe the up B hitbox started positioning Bright and Early towards the top, but then there was a hitbox trade, so then they both kind of goofed away from each other a little bit.
I love it when grabs trade with something, especially command grabs, because you just teleport somewhere. It looks really funny, but one big whiff is actually not going to kill quite yet. Quite surprised that it didn't, honestly.
Really good edge guard right there by Bright and Early. Yeah, the good thing about tether recoveries is that if the character has no jump left, all they have to do is really just drop off and see if they can intercept it before the tether brings them back to stage.
Yep. Just gotta put out one weak hitbox. All it takes is one denial to be able to stop the opponent from getting back on. As soon as I see a Roy jump in like that, I am immediately dashing back. I'm trying to get under them because you know what they're looking for. Falling up airs, falling neutral airs, falling side Bs, they're up to no good.
Alright, though, again, I'm liking the punish game from E-Dog. You know, these command grabs, we've seen so many storied players like MKLeo and Pelu Pelu use that up B incredibly well. And E-Dog looks like no stranger to it either.
If you aim it well, it can just be such a menacing tool. I really like that side B, by the way, because it just sort of forced Bright and Early to back off just a little bit. Missing that F smash is going to be so big because that put them into disadvantage for a brief moment. And E-Dog just committing so heavily.
What spacing right there by E-Dog to be able to position that for that whip punish right there. I didn't think they'd have it. Oh, if they back aired there, that would have been the game, darn.
Yeah, I don't really know fully how that works, if it's percent based or whatever, but wow.
It's percent. So you get put into an intechable by it at a pretty early percent. I believe like 50-ish and up. You get put into an intechable stage spike at that point from it. I do think, though, a lot of how players come out of it can be DI dependent. Or maybe it's a set way every time and it's just hard to react to. It's tough. It's tough to tell a lot of the time because we see players like MKLeo punish so consistently with it. And then I see other players kind of like predict that they're going to go one way. Maybe it's very heavily read-based. Either way, really, really solid stuff right there in that game one.
It was really back and forth between the two. I feel like they were just still feeling each other out. I feel like when both of them committed to an aggressive button, it always connected. They're both maybe kind of just swinging a little bit. They're both really committing heavily. I feel like in this upcoming game too, they're going to start playing a little bit more passively, starting to play around one another than maybe approaching a little bit less.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But E-Dog looking very good that game one. You know, Bright and Early, though, had some shining moments as well. I like the edge guard they're going for. They were picking some nice options. I know last week they got a little bit chopped up, but this time they're looking way better. So I like that. I like to see that visual improvement from players week per week. You know, that's one of the reasons why this league is such a strong thing, because it's still, in all the busyness of college, you still have good time to get some decent quality practice.
Yep. Also, I just feel like one big thing when you're playing this Roy, when you do get that big opening, you really have to make the most out of it. Roy is all about his advantage state. You know, it's all about like how many hits can you actually link on an opponent. Seeing like a drop off of like a falling up air, not really getting too much else off of it. That's typically going to be the biggest in. A falling sweet spot up air, a falling sweet spot neutral air. That's what really is like the moneymaker for Roy. If we do see, we need to see like Bright and Early like capitalize on those as much as possible.
It's true. So I do want to see those capitalizations because Roy can hit real hard when put in the right circumstances. I feel like we didn't really see any jab back airs from Bright and Early's. No opportunities because a strong defense is just as important as a good offense. If you can get those parries off or good solid punishes on characters like Byleth or Roy, you know their disadvantages are pretty good, but they're not infallible. So
Yeah.
we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, gonna be opting to go for the PS2. I still feel like this kind of a stage kind of favors Roy quite a bit. Or just maybe in this matchup, just him being so fast, he's just able to jump in so easily. But now has the E-Dog stuck in a corner. That was really good patience, just waiting until they can safely space that falling fair.
The PS2 for the pick right here. You know, good solid stage for both of these characters right here. I'm wondering even why they didn't start here. In fact, you know, we don't really see a lot of players start on stages aside from PS2 typically, but I believe we saw Battlefield or Small Battlefield that first game.
I understand the E-Dogs like a little bit of fear. Oh goodness, what just happened?
Speaking of fear.
Yeah, Bright and Early either like holding down on the air dodge because that really definitely looked like it should have been able to snap. When a Roy side B's your shield, you have plenty of time to punish it. That is not a moment that you go and back away. It's just recognizing those few openings that Roy gives you where he is unsafe, where he is negative on shield. He doesn't have a lot of them, but when he has it, you need to punish it. Like that. Beautiful. Oh.
Yeah, see, untechable at like 50 right there. That was real. It spikes you really, really early, so you kind of have to be careful when you're being put in a very compromising position against Byleth, because this character can really mop you up off that command grab right there. And again, not another F smash being whiffed. I'm loving how when Bright and Early is choosing to get up from stage because they really haven't been getting called out too hard.
Getting an F tilt, this could be the ledge trap right now, but Goy just making use of all of his airspeed, jumping back down to safety. And I feel like Bright and Early starting to fish for these side Bs a little bit too much.
That was dash attack. That was a huge dash attack punish opportunity right there for E-Dog. Would have gotten the stock off of Bright and Early, but still, not losing too much ground from that at all.
Had the right idea that time, but Goy being a fast follow, just quick enough to be able to snap to the ledge before the dash attack out there.
Yes, still good for Bright and Early here, but I'm liking the ledge trapping from E-Dog right here. Up 3 stocks to 1. Bright and Early has to make a dent right here, else they're going to be losing some big points if E-Dog wins this game.
Bit of a misplay with that F smash. It took like E-Dog a second to realize that Bright and Early is on the platform and not actually like sitting on stage, jumping back down to safety. And again, these commitments to side B are just giving E-Dog openings to just get back to stage.
This punish from E-Dog has been so huge. Bright and Early just not being able to find a way in whatsoever. Oh my god! Yo! E-Dog turned up that game too. That was incredible.
Just played keep away, just kept on getting out of the corner, just kept on killing. That was that was good. That was good. That was really solid.
I want to note in particular, a lot of those recoveries from Bright and Early were going over the ledge a lot of those times. So the snap to ledge wasn't always optimal, and I think E-Dog started to pick up on that a little bit. They're like, okay, I can't land these F smashes, but I know how to place dare real well, so I'm gonna let one of these rip and see what works out. And that's a 3 stock and a set win. So that's 5+ points headed into the bank of Canisius College right now. And man, if I'm St. Peter's, I'm getting scared.
Yeah, if you know your opponent's gonna recover low, and you kind of know the timing a little bit, like kind of with Roy, you can just throw it down in sometimes. If you whiff it, guess what? You have enough time to be able to continue your ledge trap. You're not getting punished for that because they're scared. They're still holding on to the stage. That was just good decision making on behalf of E-Dog, and look at the lead that they were able to amass for the team.
It's true. And wow, that Byleth was super impressive. I'm a big fan of hot Byleth gameplay. Byleth is like one of my favorite characters in Smash right now, so it was really, really cool. It's really, really cool to see E-Dog put on such a performance right there. And man, Canisius looking so much better for it. Honestly, at the end of the day, E-Dog might be looking like their MVP because a 3 stock is huge. A 3 stock is a big statement right here for a lot of these schools.
Yep.
It gets you so many points in this format. It extends your lead. And with 2 sets on the board already for Canisius, you know, St. Peter's is on borrowed time at this point as we go into the 4th set, which I believe is going to be between Flapjack and 5 Points. Flapjack plays Crom, I believe. And 5 Points tends to pick around a few different characters. But I believe the one we are going to be seeing this time, if I can recall correctly, 5 Points always goes different characters. I think Falco, we saw Falco last week. I don't know who we're going to see.
I would not be able to tell you because I was not here last week, so I'm putting all of this accountability on you, Sean.
5 Points has been here for a few seasons, though. We've seen Lucas from them. I believe we've seen other odd characters at some points. I don't know who they're going to go this week, but Flapjack, probably the strongest player I saw on Canisius last week. Looking like E-Dog this week, but Flapjack was looking mighty tough last week, so I want to see if they can maybe... If St. Peter's can make it through this wall that is Flapjack, because if you can do that, it's all up to set 5 at that point. But if they drop this one, it's pretty much curtains for them this week.
Yeah, with that being said, like, once again, while we do wait for them to finish up the striking and stuff, we are going to go into a quick little break once again. We'll be back here in just like a minute or 2 minutes time, so don't go anywhere quite yet. Alrighty, gamers, and we're back. So once again, we do have 5 points coming up against Flapjack. They have finished striking their stages. We'll be jumping into the game momentarily. Just want to take a second to remind everybody, for all of you guys, finally, by the way, I own a water bottle and not just coffee mugs. But you should be keeping yourselves hydrated.
Stay hydrated or dihydrate. Now it's simple. Keep your body flowing. We're made up of a ton of water, and we need to keep drinking that stuff for everything to be progressing properly throughout our bodies, throughout our day-to-day activities. So put that Coca-Cola down and pick up a nice glass of H2O. We got 5 points on Byleth. We're seeing lots of Byleth this block, and a lot of Fire Emblem this block too, is Flapjack repping this Crom. And man, if there's one character that I love watching more than any other in this game, it's Crom.
Yeah, Crom can be like so exciting, so like advantageous, just like constantly pressing and pushing. So really similar matchup to what we saw last time around, guy. Honestly, basically the same thing in concept.
Oh yeah. You know, it's really up to 5 points at this point, as we saw between the set in between Bright and Early and E-Dog last time. Is Byleth really just playing keep away the entire time? We want to see some strong punishes here, some keep away,
And speaking
be
of
a
strong
little-
punishes, there we go. Really solid whip punish. Now has 5 points at the ledge. Tries to go for an early F tilt. Gonna be missing it, but F smash is gonna be such a danger to Crom up B. As opposed to Roy, who can immediately snap onto the ledge. You have a huge window of vulnerability as Crom.
Okay, I'm liking what both of these players are honestly bringing to the table at this point. A little bit of a committal drift in right there, though, from 5 points, and that's going to be Flapjack's opening to really take off this first stock. Ooh! A little bit of second guess right there on Flapjack as they missed that fair. So they were like, okay, I have to stop this commitment right here, but little did he know that that was the commitment in itself.
Gets the F throw, goes for the down tilt. I think that's a really good idea, but a little bit more percent, and that would have been able to set up another tech chase, not actually having enough knockback to send into tumble quite yet.
Yeah, I like the way Flapjack has been finding themselves down in a lot of these situations. Just doesn't seem to be getting these
that side B
openings
was so
quite
good.
properly.
That food side B was so smart.
Ooh. Okay, I like the F smash right there. There's one thing that's susceptible, it's Crom's up B. You know, really well placed F smash right there from 5 points. It would be able to really seal the deal right there. I also think side B would be pretty good. You know, if you're not really as precise, you can more so rely on that move to kind of knock Crom out, since he does lose his armor part of the way up on his up B.
Oh, such a good punish with F tilt there. And are they going to be able to go for an edge guard? Not quite yet, as 5 points just tries to go back as low as they can, keeping themselves safe, because Crom does have a finite distance that he can actually go.
Oh my god, what's the punish gonna be? I like it, just clean and simple, F smash. I would have personally opted for a fully charged fail knot.
A down B would have been pretty cool too.
Get him quaking a little bit. Down B would have been cool, actually. That is the disrespect move.
But such clean execution, especially in Town and City. Here's the thing with that. You DI out through the jab, but then you also are still holding out on the jab when the back heel connects and you end up mis-DIing it. It happens constantly, like with Palutena down tilt at the ledge. It's the same concept. So it's something you always have to be ready for, to hold in on back heel, but hold out through the jab.
5 points looking really good now. They're starting to crank up the speed a little bit in these punishes while Flapjack is sort of floundering to get these openings a lot of the time. But all Crom needs is this one opening, as that could have been super scary if 5 points had done the neutral air dodge there. But nice little use of aimer there. A big giant axe thing made out of god bone. Hits really hard.
I feel like down smash has done so much for Byleth, like more than I've seen in a while this set.
It's crazy.
This game so far, but something I did want to note, there was one misplay for Flapjack where it all kind of went wrong. Where Flapjack went for like a neutral air F smash. So neutral air F smash is a true thing. I don't know who sat down and programmed neutral air to have as much frame advantage as it does on hit, but that move like gives you quite literally half a second to follow up off of it.
Oh, yeah.
But what something is really, really important that you have to do, nail F smash is very spacing dependent. If you hit them when they're in the air, they sometimes get popped up a little bit too high. A good way to keep your neutral air confirms safe is to go for another falling neutral air, because you have enough time to do that. If you can then get that second neutral air, you have enough time to react and get your F smash. However, because of how quick of a move neutral air is, it doesn't give you enough time to, on reaction, decide whether or not you have the spacing to F smash.
It's true. So you got to make sure you're spacing your moves adequately. You're not overcommitting in these specific instances right here, because that, you know, all it takes is one punish to really throw off momentum and make the whole game plan fall apart for a lot of players.
But yeah, going into next game, I feel like they both played it really, really well. I really like the way that 5 points was also recovering against Kura, making sure that they weren't edge guarding. I do feel like 5 points could be punishing those up Bs, because once again, they're so vulnerable. 5 points keeps on trying to go for like 2 frame spacings instead of hitting where Kram is going with up B.
That's true. It's more so, I think Kram more so than anything is about precision, and I think and Byleth especially, you have to be precise with a lot of those aerials since they hit very linearly. Even though they have a pretty generous range with both the sour and sweet spot, you still want to make sure you're hitting those hits. You want to make sure you're calling out those jumps adequately. You do not really want to be caught whiffing in the face of a character like Kram who could really put you in the blender.
But yeah, so going into next game, I feel like the stage choice was fine. This is something that both of them kind of prefer. I would just like to see Flapjack slow it down just a little tiny bit.
True. Just a little slower.
So it seems like they are actually going to be running it back to Town City. Yeah, no, no opposition for me. Feel like it makes sense. Feel like it was very doable for Flapjack here. Just a couple of misplays.
It's true. I think it is also more within the realm of doability. I do agree with you about the pacing and how Flapjack could be slowing down the game plan just a little bit. You know, Crom played slow is really good. I don't think people realize that you don't have to be going Mach 5 with this character at all instances. You can really kind of taper it off just a little bit. They'll play it a bit more slowly, and you just have to wait for those punishes to come to you, because Crom's punish game is so substantial. In fact, that it's what makes the character so good.
Don't know what they're waiting on. But you know, we're chilling, we're hanging out.
If 5 points does get this set win, it can definitely bring St. Peter's into a more favorable position. You know, just close that gap a little bit, where it'll really more so be left off to the last set. And at that point, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't really seen too many set fives so far. I mean, it is only week 2, but usually you can tell if one school is going to be a little bit more dominant than the other in a lot of instances. We'll have to see, though.
They're icing them out, yeah. A producer in the SSBU captain's channel was like, yo, this icing? They're just icing them out. They're having a little bit of a stare down. I feel like, wait, there were like a couple of competitive instances of actual like icing happening, right? Like, I remember like at a melee set or something, like somebody like went out to go like smoke a cigarette for like 5 minutes.
Oh my.
It was like a pretty notable set too. I just can't remember.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It was
mid-set. It was mid-set.
It was mid-set. And they waited. They respected it. They like waited for like 40 minutes. It was like I forgot what set it was.
Do you know what it's like? It's also like how Wizrobe. Do you know how long Wizrobe takes to like drink water? It takes minutes.
Wizrobe from getting on stage to actually pressing the start button is like a 6 to 7 minute interval. Because I remember Card timed it one time, and it was like 6 minutes 30 seconds or something from when Wizrobe sat down to when the start button for game 1 was pressed. I don't get it. The man is good with. He's like Batman though. With prep time, he is unstoppable.
All right, so little update. 5 points' Discord crashed. Happens to the best of us. In fact, happens quite often.
Truthfully, it does happen to the best of us.
Our producer letting 5 points know that it's time to play.
Oh man.
Okay. Okay, we're back in it. Gonna be Byleth Crom once again. Gonna be going right back to Town City. So the only thing that I feel like has changed for Flapjack, for it to be a little bit more favorable for them, just gotta change that pacing.
And we're going to see how that unfolds right here within this game. Gearing up to Town and City for Game 2. I definitely like this counter pick for Crom. It gives them a little bit more area to move around with these platforms. Plus, you're going to be seeing a little bit earlier stock takes off the side right here. And they're getting into it.
Flapjack once again setting up another tech chase. Tries to go for the jab F smash. A lot of people will like preemptively like try to air dodge, directional air dodge in there. So I really like the idea, really like the commitment. And Flapjack now starting to preemptively dash back before committing to something like a jab and do ledge traps. I think it's really, really smart because 5 points kept getting back on with like a neutral get up shield in game 1.
Ooh! Could have been a big punish. I think side B would have been a more consistent kill option there. Honestly, F smash not a bad pick to tech chase right there, but you have to be so much more precise.
I don't know. I'd say Crom side B is like anything but consistent. I see people falling out of it constantly. So I like the F smash commitment. I like the fact that Flap just took the stock so confidently. And look at this pressure.
I like it. Yeah, Flapjack, I think think they were listening to the stream a little bit. We're seeing a little bit slower of a game plan right here. And just honestly picking up on all of the defensive habits right here on 5 points. 5 points.
Had the right idea. That was so smart. 5 points had no double jump, but then just slightly misspaced. That was so well played from Flapjack. A little bit tragic that they dropped the execution of it.
Yeah, I like the ledge trapping, sitting at roll distance very healthily. You know, Chrom has options with that sword of his that he can reach more so towards the ledge, and that jab bear is just so consistent. It kills really, really early too, if you're not ready for it.
Getting an up smash could be putting him into juggle, but just not really able to get much else off of this bit now. Flapjack, look how confidently he's playing.
Flapjack kind of chefing right now. You know, we saw 5 points kind of have a little bit more command of the driver's seat last game, but Flapjack is on the verge of 3-stocking. That's a 3-stock. Wow. And if that's a way to get you back into the set, I can't think of a better one.
That was solid. That was confident. He had all of his confirms on deck. He played it a little bit slower, but then he just tightened up his execution and slowed down in some situations, like tech chases. Instead of like constantly like whiffing buttons, just waited for the option to be picked before like choosing his own. So that was just an overall improvement.
What do you think went wrong for 5 points there? I feel like they just got called out on a lot of stuff and then got, you know, kind of forced to shield quite a bit, and then they were just getting ran over for it the entire time.
I think this is more so Flapjack playing the matchup correctly.
Yeah,
5 points maybe played the exact same way, but Flapjack was just able to be aggressive, just be able to play fast, but then also wait in the right places. If you're not getting your hits, if you're not getting your advantage state with somebody like Chrom, then, you know, you're sort of resetting the situation far too many times. I just feel like it came down to Flapjack getting a lot of damage for each hit.
And get a lot of damage they did, as I feel like Flapjack's punish game looked so much more consistent and confident in comparison to how it was that first game. And sometimes you need a little bit of warm-up time. Sometimes you need to get things moving a little bit because you are only playing one set. This isn't like a traditional tournament format where you're just going after set after set after set after set. And you're fully warmed up and you're trying to, you know, you're locked into tournament mode. This is all you get for the whole day. You get one set and that's it. You're done. You've done your job for your team. So it does take a little bit sometimes to get the engine whirring up a little bit.
Yeah, also Town and City against like Roy and Chrom are not typically stages that you do want to be going. That's like it's like a classic, like against them you always want to be banning that stage. They can take your stock suspiciously early. They can also get to those side platforms in time to be able to hit you. It's typically a stage that you do want to avoid against them, and I would advise against taking Flapjack.
All right, getting into this game 3. We've been seeing lots of game 3s this time. I knew this was going to be closer this time around after last week's performances, and we're just getting right into it. I like how both these characters also have somewhat of the same facial expression in their character portraits.
It's the same angle. They look at the exact same way.
Just very serious anime men. Ready to do very serious anime man things.
I was just thinking about how to respond to that, but I didn't have like a funny response. So I'm just like, I just let it breathe a little bit longer. I could not match your comedy, Sean. My apologies.
Aren't you a comedian?
Was in the past, but right now we do have Flapjack controlling the corner. That was a really, really good forward back here out of disadvantage. Something that you do have to remind yourself of is that like Ramen Goy's throws, you know, not very long. They don't really send you that far. They don't have a lot of knockback attached to them, especially something like a back throw. That's always going to be like catching you pressing a button.
All right, so 5 points, I think, doing a lot better with this additional space they've been granted this time around. And though Flapjack has really been trying to put the pressure on, it doesn't seem like 5 points has been wavering too much. Going for that big one right there. Kind of biting off a little more than they can chew in that instance, however.
I feel like Flapjack could have made it back because the up B was just like not angled to the side at all, and they kind of did it in place. So really not sure what happened there. But right now, really big neutral that is going to be sending 5 points to the corner, and F tilt on a reaction on neutral get up on Wi-Fi.
On Wi-Fi? Unheard of.
More likely than anything. Yeah.
And that might be what Flapjack needs to get themselves back into this game right here, is just good reactions. You know, it's a little bit harder to react on Wi-Fi scientifically, not even, you know, taking a dig at the online experience, but Flapjack's looking good now, you know, looking relatively in control. It's just that 5 points has been doing a really good job of kind of staving off a lot of these aggressive approaches from Flapjack.
But 5 points has just not been able to get like a second for themselves, constantly in the corner, constantly getting the defensive options stuffed out. That was such a good roll read from, you know, from Flapjack, because typically it's like, I feel like Crom is like one of those characters that just hits your shield and then backs up and tries to guess what you do next. And that was just a good guess.
And that's the mantra of this game, right? Like, a lot of characters, traditionally, their shield gets hit. Okay, I'm going to do an out-of-shield option. You know, there's not a lot of moves in this game you traditionally have to respect on shield, especially if you have a good, like... Because most characters have, like, a good frame, single-digit nair or out-of-shield option that can punish a lot of the time. Yep. With Crom, it's different. You have to respect a lot of his buttons depending on how they're spaced or if you're not ready to punish them yet. And Flapjack cleaning it up real nicely right there. And I believe that's going to be the nail in the coffin. Yeah, Jerbear.
Execution was so solid. Granted, I will say, with kind of the way that Wi-Fi works, you can sometimes buffer movement options a little bit sooner. It does make jab back a little bit easier sometimes, but you know, either way, that's not to discredit them at all. Flapjack had their execution down. They were able to find all the jab back killers. There is not a single miss input, which is so important. If you can execute properly and convert off of things properly and you have the technical ability to do so, you just get the most mileage out of it.
It's true. And I feel like Flapjack really kept the tech in the back pocket for that set. You know, did a lot of tight executionary plays that really paid off in spades. I mean, it's not easy to hit jab back air. You know, you have to do input on your controller. You have to make sure you're getting it consistently, especially in these high pressure situations where getting a stock is do or die. So Canisius gonna be going up 3 sets to 1 at this point, and I think that would probably be it mathematically for St. Peter's. It's 19-5, even if they get double 3 stocks, and
it's always a maximum of 8 points. You can only get 2 from winning the set and then getting another 6 with the double 3 stock. So even with all of that, that will only put them at 13 points. So that being said, a really good stuff to Canisius College. We do have one more set ahead of us, so stay tuned for that. We'll be back in a few minutes. Sean, hi.
Oh,
Hello.
it was me. Oh.
Yes, I asked.
You said it was you. What's up, guys? Welcome back to EGFC Season 3, Week number 2. It's been quite the heated set between St. Peter's University and Canisius College. We do have our final set of this block up for you guys. We got Daku Sky versus Chino. And we're just going to be getting right into it. We've got Sephiroth versus Sonic. And honestly, from what I was seeing out of Daku Sky's Sephiroth last week, we were seeing a lot of promising things. So I want to see if Chino can kind of reel it back in this week and see if they can make something for themselves this time. Because they got kind of worked last week.
Something I feel like though, like for Chino, it would be really best here if we were talking about just like amount of points, just playing it back as far as you can, really forcing Sephiroth to be the one to whiff and approach and jump in unsafe ways, because when you use Sonic, especially in FD, you almost never really have an incentive to go in.
It's true. Looking a mighty crunchy though on this internet right now, just a little bit.
Bless Smash Ultimate, what a game.
It's so weird too because it's been so good and these guys have been playing on one Switch this entire time. But sometimes I feel like when Sonic enters the stage, sometimes lag just kind of happens out of nowhere. Oh man.
It's a little bit difficult to really analyze what's going on, because it sort of feels like both of them are fighting against the connection a little tiny bit. But with that being said, a beautiful up smash from Daku Sky is going to be the first thing to take the stock here. He has to go through the falling neutral into forward, but getting a full hop instead of a short hop.
Ooh, okay, I like that. That was cheeky up throw, up tilt. I don't really see that combo too much coming out of most Sephiroths, but I like already what Daku Sky is doing with a lot of these spacings on their moves. They're doing a fantastic job of keeping Chino out of their zone as much as they can. Holy moly, he's dead. He's gone.
Chino faded back. Chino tried to keep themselves safe, but losing up B that early.
Are they dead again?
I think Chino has accepted the fate.
What happened?
No. I think they've genuinely accepted the fate. They just ran off. They're
There's
like,
no
hey,
way.
I'm good on this game. We got a huge deficit, you know, and maybe just moving on with it. What?
No counter pick needed. We're running it right back. We're going right back to FD. I think you're right in this metric that they know it's kind of over at this point. You know, St. Peter's has pretty much no shot at this point of making it back. And yeah, see the SDs come out. Is that like an official thing they're doing, or is this just like a reset on stage picks?
You're asking the wrong girl, but I
You
would
have
not
to
be
know.
able to tell you.
I need you to know this information.
I am not some wise, all-knowing sage. Well, we'll see. They'll probably respond in the
figure it
captain's
out.
chat in just a second. Probably, honestly. Right? If you're down just that much,
You're down
maybe
that bad.
They don't want to play through that connection. What's happening? Oh, he accidentally started, they say.
Oh, okay. They wanted to go right back into it, but yeah. So we're gonna be seeing a proper game 2 unfolding.
So was the game 1 where they just ran off and lost their stock intentional?
I don't know. No idea. No clue.
Okay, so it seems like from Canisius we're gonna be seeing bans No Town, Callus, and Lilac. Yeah, you always want to get rid of big stages against Sonic.
Crying
Really
right
close. Sobbing, actually.
now. Shaking and
Violently.
crying right now. This is a bop though.
Always. This is the classic.
Always a
music.
bop.
It's always here for us. So it seems like they're going to be running it to PS2. I feel like Sonic, especially with most stage lists, tends to kind of always be favored. Because if you have Town and City, if you have Callus, if you have FD, if you have PS2, you only have 2 to 3 strikes. If you get rid of all of them but one, then Sonic almost always has that option to go to the last one. Right? Because Sonic loves his big stages where he has a good time running around, playing back, playing people away. So PS2 is a good choice.
All right, though, hopping right back into it here. Potentially the final game. Well, yeah, potentially the final game of this entire set and this entire series right here. between Canisius and St. Peter's going on right here. Daku Sky looking pretty hot after that 3-stock game 1. So right now Chino's just playing for experience and potentially just to get those points back just a bit in their favor.
Yeah, because the points do get tallied up at the end of the season. They're used for seeding purposes and other things. So really, really good just to make sure you are getting as many points as you can. But right now, both of them are just still struggling to be able to initiate or get big follow-ups. I like going through F through there instead of something like down throw, which you do need the execution to combo for. Daku Sky was just like, hey, get off my stage. I'm just going to try to edge guard you.
Again, Daku Sky just looking so potent in these situations where Chino is stuck at this mid-range. You know, we're seeing these attempts to try and get these approaches off, but Daku Sky just playing so much more patient than Chino in a lot of these instances.
Oh, really good F tilt there. Going to be getting Chino off stage, and now it's stuck without the up B, but is just able to drift back down successfully to safety.
And yeah, a lot of these F-tilts and spot dodges not really safe. I feel like Sonic can attempt to whiff punish them in some metric, but Chino is just sort of lacking the punish options right now.
Oh, are they dead? No, not quite. Daku Sky going to be committing to a little bit, like, I like the F-smash idea, but you really have to take advantage of how much space it covers. You can back up a little bit. You can also react to what Chino's falling option is going to be.
Really good down smash right there out of Daku Sky. Chino, again, struggling a bit to just find their way in against Daku Sky right now. It just seems like Daku Sky has been playing this a bit more patiently a lot of these times, just sharking these landings a fair amount better and just getting more substantial punishes. You know, Chino seems to be just trying to play through the heart to try and find a lot of these punishes as opposed to following any sort of predisposed punish game.
Chino's also like not going through like a lot of side Bs and down Bs. Well, you know, as soon as I say it, Chino just listening in. But I feel like it's a very fundamental way of how Sonic wants to be playing the game. Running circles around you and then sometimes approaching. Not really going for side B that often in neutral is like kind of biting them in the foot.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Going off the bottom of it. Where's the punish? No. Yeah, good air dodge right there at least. Daku Sky's been committing to a lot of smash attacks in these situations where they think they have this big punish plan, but you have to make sure all the resources are exhausted on your opponent before you really commit to that giant read.
That's like the third or second time that Chino has like, successfully escaped that kind of a situation. But Daku Sky got the shield break and gets the fully charged neutral B into like an F tilt or something. Big damage, big stock lead. This could be it.
Yeah, again, we're on the verge of potential 6 stock right here for Daku Sky. And again, up throw, up tilt. That's apparently a really reliable combo.
Up throw, up tilt is like, I feel like up tilt is more of a finisher though. Typically, like you want to see Sephiroth going through up through neutral air, which allows you to get another neutral air, some other hit, but Chino able to get the stock off. Gonna be preventing Daku Sky from getting a 3 stock, but with this kind of a lead, this is basically the game.
Oh yeah. I don't really see a world where Daku Sky really drops this game. All we can really hope for Chino at this point is that they obtain another stock in this situation. You know, I've seen comebacks happen from worse, but it just seems like Daku Sky has been way more potent with their punishes, and the lead was established so early. And yeah, that's going to be it right there. Canisius College taking it pretty convincingly over St. Peter's this week. So we're going to see if St. Peter's can bring it back next week, but that is going to be it for them this time around.
Yep, pretty confident lead 2. That was almost like a double 3 stock there again, but a little bit unfortunate mishap with the connection. I do feel like Chino, though, they could have been snapping to ledge a little bit more with up B because they kept going high, they kept going above it, and then they kept air dodging back down. And then additionally, just not going for a lot of side Bs. I feel like a very fundamental part of what it means to play Sonic is going for side B, hitting their shield, crossing them up, with punishing their next option. And like Chino like really didn't utilize Sonic's game plan.
Ooh, that song. That song creeping in.
Kinda heat. So we are currently waiting on whether or not we're going to be doing an interview with Canisius College. But I guess in the meantime, while we do figure that out, we are going to go ahead and cut to a break once again. So we might be back in a couple of minutes, either with the next set or with an interview. So see you in a minute.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to EGFC Season 3, Week number 2. We got the winners of this last block here at Canisius with the whole squad in presence. We got Flapjack on the mic, though. Flapjack, how are you doing right now, buddy?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Got the whole team with us because it's the big team victory, you know?
Hey, let's go. Yeah, all of you played fantastically. All of you guys did such a great job this week.
Thank you, thank you.
Go for it. Shoot.
Oh, I can go for it. Sure.
Of course.
Wanted to ask, is there anybody that like in your team right now that you that's like a little bit newer to your team with this season, or is it just basically the same roster of people that you guys had last time around?
We have a very similar like starting roster, at least you've probably seen coming from last year. But we have some people that are stepping up this year. We got Beeson right here. You can come on in, Nick. Come on in, say hi. This is our Dark Pit. He's really just joining the starting roster this year. He's putting in some work. Loving to see it. And we also have a bunch of new people, right? That, you know, maybe didn't get the chance to play today, but they're really putting in the work. They're doing a wonderful job with us. So, yeah. But right now it's kind of similar. I mean, if you watched us before, the flavors are pretty similar.
What do you think was the swing factor in this entire series so far? Because the first set of Fly went up, then Cuffy kind of took the second one. Where do you think everything really shifted in terms of how today went for you guys?
I'm very big on momentum. I think momentum is a huge part of the game in general. And I think when Ethan takes that 3-stock with that spike, it's like, boom, we just need to keep on going full force. And right there, I think that, I mean, honestly, I think that game was sealed right at that moment.
I feel like that last game was like a little bit like unfortunate, like because of the connection. But like up until like that point, for each of the individual games, was there like any player that you guys were like especially worried about? Was there anybody from the school that you feel like was going to pose like the biggest challenge to you guys?
On St. Peter's?
Yes.
Usually when we go into these things, we kind of at least last year we were thinking of doing like a take off the head of the Hydra type of thing. Where we kind of plan our game plan around who we thought we could, like the bigger threats. I think we definitely had to worry about Koofy, the DDD. 5 points, the Byleth. And then we saw him on the roster, Ricardo. He's a good player. Sad we didn't get to play up against him today. But, you know, those are the kinds of things. When you go into the week, you got to know who you're playing against and plan accordingly.
Last question for y'all. I know that everyone has felt differently in terms of schools. How do y'all feel about Sora being announced for Ultimate as the last character? I've seen all kinds of reactions popping
Sora.
off over here.
They love Sora. A lot of Kingdom Hearts fans. Personally, I'm interested to see how this thing works out. I really hope he's balanced. If there's some random thing with him, it'll be, you know, tradition, get a Bayo too, maybe. But I highly doubt it. I think he looks kind of mediocre at the moment, personally. I'll say it in terms of the better. I'll be the one to say it. I love the addition. It just looks a little okay. But yeah, I think we're all excited for, you know, more balance changes, new stage, you know, legalize that. Looks fun.
Hopefully, I'm praying on it.
And yeah, we're down to learn new characters.
Hey, it's awesome to hear. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in for this interview, and congratulations on the big W. Y'all should be patting yourselves on the back. Get the nicest thing on campus that you guys should eat. I don't know if Canisius has good campus food like that.
Oh, we got some stuff.
Hey, there you go. Hey, guys. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the W, and we'll see you guys back at it next week.
Of course. We'll see you next week, hopefully. Hey. Have a good one.
Peace out, guys. That was a good interview.
We did good, Sean.
Those guys are pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
They're chilling and they're hanging out.
They are chilling and they're hanging out. The guy, I like the sense of camaraderie they got going on. You can really tell that they're a cohesive unit and a group that actually likes to work with each other. It's not just like 4 or 5 guys like, these are our best players. But either way, we're going to see you guys in the next block. We're going to cut to a short break while we shift over. We're going to be having Siena College versus Rider University coming up next, so don't click off the stream.